Hello everyone. A quick introduction about myself. I'm Gokul, alumni of RMKEC Engineering College. I currently work at Freshworks. So, what are we trying to do with this is we want to interact with students given the emergency situation. Um, we are trying to help out students, let's say, how to prepare for interviews, like how to learn and what can be done in the holiday seasons that you have right now. Um, so the first thing that we need to get to is like I think most of you would want to concentrate on learning the basics. When I mean basics, it could be very simple, like writing a very simple program, understand the complexity of it, like how you can improvise it, etc. Like irrespective of whatever languages you're comfortable with, it's more about thinking of a solution, coming up with an ideal solution, and then the next step is to think of which is the right programming language, as in which is your comfortable programming language. You can choose that. So yeah, um, basics. When I mean you have already been exposed to some coding contests. I would even suggest to try to solve some hard problems. That is when we'll be able to know like how good are we in problem solving, how good are we coming up with some solutions. Sometimes when you solve a problem, it's very natural that we get satisfied with a very novice solution, but it's not that we have to get satisfied there and stop there. It's something like you need to improve. So to improve, how you will know that you are improvising something? You need to know, okay, that's the improvisation metrics that for a programming thing is that um, complexity. You can learn complexity, how to compute the complexity for an algorithm, how to compute space complexity, time complexity for any algorithm. So when you come up with some algorithm, understand the complexity of it, see how it can still be improved. Um, so why you should not get satisfied with the um, very common solution, and why you need to look for optimization is that like we'll go over with an example later part of the discussion maybe. So getting the basics right is one of the first step uh, to start. Why I stress on this is had a few conversations with few of the students during last college visits and few other folks. Um, in most of the conversations, what came up was when there is a library already available which I can use. Why should I write the logic myself? It was a very common question. Let's say I have a sort uh, uh, function in a Python library. Why should I write a sort function of my own? Was a question. That's a valid question, but the thing is, when you start using libraries, it's more like you wouldn't know what's the logic behind it that's running. Say with respect to sort, there are n number of sorts that's available today, like bubble sort, heap sort, merge sort, quick sort, or like what type of sort is applied by the algorithm, you didn't know. Like say if you're using the same sort, imagine you're using the library sort function in one of the programming contests, and many of you would have witnessed time limit exceeded exception. Probably the solution would have been expected to run in less number of time, and your program would have ended in a TLE. The reason could be that probably the library that you are using could have had the algorithms written in O of n square. We are not sure because we are not going through the algorithm, how it is being done before using it. So that is the reason I keep telling many people like it's not good to use libraries um, until you know what's been implemented as part of the library. So try writing programs yourselves. try writing logics yourself. When you get to a state where you know that, okay, you know what's the complexity of this, you know this is how the library is working it. Yes, in that state you could probably start using libraries, which is fine. So the basic thing is, like, learn what's behind the screen. Let's say, start writing all the logics by yourself. It's where you get started. um, and regarding problem solving, this is one thing. Try to solve more problems as possible, which will help sharpen your problem solving skills. And the next thing is learning to code. Let's say what's very important. uh, let's say uh, study object oriented programming. um, let's say what are the what is inheritance, or what is polymorphism, like how it works. So this is key more basics. This is what, let's say, whatever programming language that you're going to code in. It could be a C sharp or a Java or a Python, anything. But if you are comfortable with object-oriented programming, any programming language, learning that shouldn't be a problem because it's all about syntax. Uh, that's one thing about problem solving and programming language. It's all about, the first step is thinking about a solution, coming up with a good solution. The next thing is um transforming that solution into a program that would work. So that's the more uh, a basic thing of making something work and making something better, improvising it, etc. And how other things would help. So these are all something like, uh, problem solving is one thing, and learning the basics is one thing. And oops, obviously we spoke about that. Multiple languages, you can code in your favorite language. Um, like, learn design patterns, how well to organize a class, how well to write a class. Like, say, um, you like, one basic example I would give is, think of a construction. So even we know that we are not going to build first floor or second floor. The building construction would be made in such a way it supports a building of first floor or a second floor in future. So similar way, when we write a logic, think of design patterns, a good design pattern, like how to structure a class. So tomorrow, if something, let's say, there is a small change that I need to do, it's not that I'm going to reshuffle the entire code. How well I can make a very small change, a very minimal change to make it work. So that kind of thinking, and the various design patterns that are available. So when to apply what, you could go over it. We have already gone over it. Probably you can look with some examples. That's one thing. One other thing is, try to link all the subjects you have learned together. Um, could be, okay. We started with OOPS, object-oriented programming. Then we moved on to other programming languages. Then you have to study data structures, why it is required. Um, then there are many subjects like networking, server architecture. Uh, So try to link all the dots that you have.